Hey YouTube, Gamer Hooshu here, back with another video. How do I even explain this? So, yesterday there was this weird uptick with people talking about The Last Jedi again. And, I don't know, I haven't posted a video in a while. And I just thought I'd briefly talk about how it's just like the aftermath of it now. The aftermath of The Last Jedi. So, something that's been kind of interesting to me is that throughout these 2 years since The Last Jedi actually came out, I've met very few people who actually vehemently hate The Last Jedi. I personally thought it was alright, and I like it. I think I like it more than The Force Awakens, and possibly more than, I don't know, because I look at some of the movies like Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones, and in some respects they're pretty awkward and kind of bad, but they can still be enjoyable. For example, the entire last, I don't know, what is it, half hour, 40 minutes of Attack of the Clones is just really fun. Because, you have the whole arena sequence and all the cool little different creatures that they're fighting. And then you have 300 Jedi come out of nowhere, we're gonna fight everybody. And then Mace Windu freaking murders Jango Fett, and that's kind of cool. Except Boba Fett is very sad, and it's terrifying. And then the Clone Wars start, and those are some cool sequences. The Battle of Geonosis. Then you have the Dooku fights. So it's really enjoyable. As a kid, I loved the Phantom Menace because I just sit down and fast forward and watch the pod race, and then I'd fast forward past the Coruscant junk and watch the whole ending sequence with oh, they're fighting all those droids. Oh, it's Darth Maul. Oh, snap. John Williams, Duel of the Fates. Great music. So, even though the movies are of, varying quality, they can still be enjoyable. I think some of those final sequences with Luke facing off against Kylo Ren, that's a really cool idea, to just have him do the whole thing, I'm so powerful you can't even touch me. Oh, I was cheating type of thing. And just the reveal of that. But so there's certainly questionable things, but I certainly don't agree with people The Last Jedi ruined Star Wars. And I'm yeah, maybe there's some bad stuff, and I was freaking bored as a kid watching a lot of Phantom Menace because I'm oh, they're just talking. I latched on to Boss Nass doing his crazy thing. It's so stupid, but it's great. And in the middle of all this talking, oh, they get talking to the dude, and then he goes, and I'm that is freaking funny, because I'm 7 at this point. I was 4 years old when the Phantom Menace came out, so I'm one of those kids. Actually, what would I have been? I would have been almost 4. This is before my birthday. I think. Anyway. It's obviously I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it on VHS a couple years later. But the point being, Star Wars is still fun. Pulling everything out. Star Wars has a certain amount of specialness to people, but when it comes down to it, it's just fun. Lightsabers are cool. Jedi are cool. The lightsaber battles are pretty cool. I'm saying cool a lot. But you gotta realize that I go to the movies and I watch movies, either one, to be engaged in a good story, or two, to just enjoy myself. And Star Wars often hits that good story level, but every single entry, it hits that fun. I mean, I personally really loved Rogue One because I feel like it's probably at least one of the strongest narrative-wise, and just the ebb and flow of that story was pretty cool. But it was still fun. You had the crazy guy with the big gun, and we're going to steal a rebel ship, and we just steal the rebel ship. Oh, we're going to steal their records. We're going to go do this. There's still good stuff in there. And Solo wasn't necessarily the greatest story, but it was still like a heist and a double-cross or triple-cross you type movie with some fun sequences, and the one droid is kind of weird, but I mean, when you get to a certain level of like droid sentience, it's almost weird that we hadn't seen that before. I mean, C-3PO is like, no one cares about droids, meh, in like the first freaking movie. You know, I don't know, it's just weird to me that people like freaked out about that. Like, C-3PO has been like, I mean, passive-aggressively fighting for droid rights since the first movie, since A New Hope. So, I don't know. Anyway, this is getting off track, but essentially what happened yesterday was, for some dumb reason, they decided to do like a whole section of the press tour for Rise of Skywalker all about how crappy The Last Jedi is. And like, we're not like The Last Jedi. We're gonna be so much better. Like, oh fun. Let's just inject more hate into Star Wars. That's great. I don't get it. Like, it's fine. Leave it alone. It still works as a movie because ultimately the main thing that occurs, there's like two major things that happen in each movie for the most part. I mean, what happens in Empire Strikes Back of like real consequence to the canon? Because everybody's like, strike the Last Jedi from canon. And I'm like, you can largely ignore it and just keep it in the canon. Because literally all it is the only things that change from the beginning to the end of The Last Jedi are Lucas found, he teaches a couple things to Rey, talks about the failures of the Jedi of the past, showing how wise he is, and then he saves the Resistance. And the Resistance goes from a small fleet to one ship full of people. So they're in dire straits, and you can expand from that. That is not a terrible starting point. Is the Resistance is in a bad place. Most of their people have been killed. The First Order is winning. And then you build a movie off of that, where you can still kind of have Luke around because of Force ghosts. I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi never freaking shut up in the original trilogy, even though he died two-thirds of the way through A New Hope. He's in Empire. He's in Return of the Jedi. He's like, yeah, I did tell you about your sister. I did tell you about Darth Vader. He talks to Luke. I mean, I feel like Alec Guinness might have had more lines. Well, no, he didn't have more lines, but he still had a lot to do, and a good solid scene in 5 and 6. But my point being, I don't even know what to think of The Last Jedi. It's okay. I don't think it kills the franchise. I mean, obviously, The Mandalorian is doing great. And Rise of Skywalker is still going to go pretty well. Because ultimately, what some doofus on the internet says about Star Wars doesn't actually affect their sales numbers much. Well, I'm not sure. But I feel like even though The Last Jedi was such this crazy downturn in fan response, I mean, the worst downturn since Phantom Menace, probably. Or maybe Attack of the Clones, because people were like, Phantom Menace was meh. Oh, fetch, Attack of the Clones is meh. But it's still going to do fine. Average people like my parents are still going to go see Star Wars. I'm going to go see Rise of Skywalker. Why the heck wouldn't I? I like Star Wars. I'll see Rise of Skywalker at least once. Even if I freaking hate it, I'll still be fine that I saw it. I won't be like, I want my money back. I guarantee someone's going to freaking do that. And it's like, I like this. Oh, my money back. And the theater's like, dude, that's not how this works. Just because you don't like a movie, even if the movie's bad, you still paid to see it. So that's gonna be fun. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I still like Star Wars. The Mandalorian's pretty good. I mean, it's not like blowing my mind, but episode 5 was really fun. I liked it. The whole speeder versus sniper battle was pretty cool. I don't know. Spoilers? Not really. Oh no, there's a cool fight. Also, sniper. Hurrah. It just made me realize how scary snipers are. Like, holy frick. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Till next time, Gamer Who Shoot out.